Look! Look! Can you believe it? There's life to the keep again! Ha! That's your doing, isn't it? The Ard seems to think so. He'll want to see you. He's holding an audience in his war room right now.
What's this about a war room?
Ah, you're here too, Titanborn. You come with me. I have a message for your ears alone.
Fine. But if this is Kadok's idea of a joke, you won't find it funny.
We are agreed. If Eastern and Western Skyrim can put aside their differences in the face of the Grey Host, then the Reach can do so as well. Come forward, Freehand. No need to bow for the sake of kings.
Thank the gods we have better matters to attend to than the deployment of troops and suspicions of treachery. For a man called Despot, the Ard is in an agreeable mood. But that's not your concern. It's good to see you once more. Truthfully, Svanna, when we learned that Markarth suffered an attack like the one you narrowly prevented in Solitude, she insisted that we offer aid, ostensibly to stop the Grey Host. But it seems we're a bit late for that. No doubt. They have proved very skilled at keeping to the shadows and biding their time. Hunting them down will not be easy, but I feel that's not how best to make use of the opportunity we've been given. The Grey Host's greatest weapon against us was our mutual mistrust. They preyed on our suspicions and fears, used our division to pick us apart one by one. The best way to prevent that from happening again will be to build trust and cooperation. An accord at least. It's a step in the right direction. Trust takes time to build, but we must start somewhere. I couldn't have done it without Svanna. Jarl Svanna. Watching her put aside past differences between Eastern and Western Skyrim for the sake of her people has made quite an impression on me. Well, yes, I do. She's a striking woman. A figure. Leader, yeah. She's won many hearts and minds in the short time she's been a Jarl. I think that speaks more to her esteem than my praise. Western Skyrim would do well to put her in charge. He doesn't want another war on his hands, and the Western Holds still desire their independence. Skyrim won't be united by force, but with more days like today, the province may one day be whole, no matter how many kings claim it.
You seem more comfortable standing among kings and jarls than I do. Then again, you always did. It's good to see you again. Western Skyrim has begun to recover. With Fenn's elixir, our soldiers have been able to push back the Grey Host. I know the Reach has not been so fortunate. I persuaded Prince Ernskar and the Skald King to offer our support. I expected we'd be sending soldiers, but by the time we arrived, the people were dancing in the streets. I always heard stories of the City of Stone being a dark place where flint-hearted Reachmen worship strange gods. It's not so different from home. The people seem happier than I've ever seen, in spite of all our hardships. I wasn't the only one living under my father's shadow, apparently. I can't come and go as I please, but the Blue Palace is lively as any tavern with Mog around. Made him my royal taster. I don't think the thought of being poisoned even crossed his mind, but he seems happy so long as the food and drink keeps coming. Unofficially, he's also the jester, but don't tell him I said so.
Whenever I see you, I know that Skyrim is in good hands. This business with the Grey Host is far from over. As long as Skyrim is threatened, I will be close by to lend a hand. The Reach is far from everyone's holdings. This Grey Host business started with me, though, and I always intended to see it through to the end. Thankfully, we prevailed this time. I do. She's an impressive young woman. Is Western Skyrim ready for Swana? That's the more pertinent question. Solitude shuns the outside world, while Swana reaches for it. We'll have to see how that works out in the end. I have no desire to replace a despot. Haven't these people suffered enough? In any event, my forces are stretched too thin to take on much more. If the people request help, however, I will put whatever resources I can at their disposal. Shore's bones, why does everyone insist on seeing ulterior motives behind every kind act? Can't a king just be a nice person? Look, someone has to extend the hand of friendship before it can be grasped. Besides, helping the Reach helps all of Skyrim.
If you had said only yesterday I'd play host to Nord rulers from across all Skyrim, I'd have told you the dead would live again before that happened. And here we are. A day of miracles. Tell me truthful, you had a hand in all this, aye? Alas, the monster that nearly brought my lands to ruin has paid the price for his wrongs. I could ask no more, and yet that which was taken has been returned as well. Where is Count Ravenwatch, if he thinks to escape my gratitude? Then his name and deeds will echo these halls for as long as I sit upon the throne, which will be a while yet, thanks to you both, and so long as these Nords are good to their word. I've no idea what peace is like, but I'm eager to find out. We treat for peace. Our battles with the Grey Host have ravaged all our kingdoms and peoples. We each seek to rebuild and recover. Perhaps we'll do so together. At least we'll keep out of each other's way. Before we proclaim, I have a favor to ask. I've need of a counselor. In spite of her treachery, Lady Belaine was a canny advisor. I need that again now, more than ever. Tell the witch, Arana, that I will offer her my ear, if she will share her wisdom. I hear she's recently arrived to Makeep. Aye, I suppose so. Can't just lop off her head after she got it back. Wouldn't do for morale. Unless she's determined to keep up her fight with me. I'm willing to put the past to rest. Besides, I already made peace with the rest of her rebels. It's a worthy holdfast, but not so much a city. I would have the land worked, the stone repaired, and the markets expanded. These are not things my kin have much knowledge in, but perhaps the Nords will share their trade for the right price. Well, they're a fair lot more agreeable than the she-wolf you travel with. Have the sense to show deference to a king in his own hall. Though I heard enough honeyed words from the Lady Belaine for one lifetime. The fat one thinks himself a poet. Scald king. Nonsense. Every now and then comes a king of his kind. One who makes stirring pronouncements and promises that his court must struggle to keep. His grand words lack guile, so I wager he can be trusted. The past would tell me to hate Svargrim's whelp with all my vigor. We've battled and bled for more generations than I can count with her ilk. But this fledgling speaks plain and honest. When she talks of new beginnings, I believe her. I heard Yoren sired the boy when he was young, but looking at the pair, I have a hard time saying who's father and who's whelp. Ernskar seems shrewd and dutiful, but his father casts a long shadow. A wide one, too. If you must, can't have in you thinking me ungrateful.
My ears are burning. Is that my name on the wind? Not even this gloomy old stone keep can dampen my spirits. My dreams hold true. Markarth is alive with joy. But you didn't approach to listen to me. What is it you wanted? I'm barely foot to stone and he's clamoring for my attention. I had no mind to stand by a throne when I first started my journey. Now, here we are. The Reach has suffered so much. I want to help restore the land. Aye, I'll serve. I can speak for myself. You have more important matters to attend to. There's a friend who's journeyed a long way to thank you personally for all you've done. 'Twould be rude to keep him waiting. There's an out-of-the-way chamber in the rear of the keep where you can meet. Now, I should find the Ard and make sure he thinks before he speaks. Aye, I can, but I won't. I'm enjoying the suspense. Off with you.
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, my friend. Do forgive my ghastly appearance. It seems I spoke too soon when I bade you a final farewell. I'm glad to have the opportunity to see you again, my friend. None of this would have been possible without you. As did I. When I took hold of the Darkstorm's power, I believed it would be the last thing I ever did. It was a force no mortal hands should wield. Still, with it I was able to draw the souls out of the Dark Heart, return them to where they belonged. No, as the last of the Dark Heart's power ebbed away, I should have been trapped in Rodda's sanctuary realm. But I was forced out. Pushed, I'd say. I fell into the darkness of the slumbering heart. Then I emerged from it, like a moth from a cocoon. My soul became part of the Dark Heart, smelted inextricably into the fabric of its existence. So long as it remains dormant, its hold over me is tolerable. But I am bound to it nonetheless. If I am to be wed to this power, then I must ensure that it never gets used again. For that to happen, both the heart and I must fade into obscurity. House Ravenwatch will carry on without me. Arana will send them here to receive the news soon. I have no regrets. You gave me the opportunity to reckon with my past and pay penance. This journey has brought closure to the life of Count Verandis Ravenwatch. I have a fresh start. As do we all. The kings are soon to speak. You should be there. I have no idea what the future holds, but you seem to be the axis upon which this world turns. If it still has some use for me, I'm sure our paths will cross again. Until then, my friend.
Arana said they'd be this way. Come on.
Father!
They said you were gone.
I was, and I will be again. We have much to discuss, but I will not be returning to House Ravenwatch.
But, who will...
You three have no more need of a guardian. It's time I put the future of the Ravenwatch in your hands.
But you'll still visit, right?
Every chance I get.
I don't know what I expected when Arana said there was someone waiting to see us, but I thought he was gone. I don't think there's anything left that could surprise me today. Forget I said that. Better not tempt fate. No, I don't mean to give the wrong impression. It's all just a bit much. Maybe I should sit down. Did he really say he wants us to take over the Raven Watch? Right. I didn't imagine it. The truth is, we were already considering the future of the Raven Watch after you returned without Verandis. It seems that will bear further discussion, but I'm relieved that the circumstances are different. Your vote of confidence is always encouraging. Gwendis could use some of that as well, I think. Have a word with her, won't you? You're to endure as much of the cheer and praise as the Ard and his people can heap upon you. And you're to have absolutely nothing to do with evil vampires for at least, I don't know, a day? Think you can manage that, recruit? Remember, you're representing House Ravenwatch now. Consider this a diplomatic mission. I believe the Ard was calling for you when we spoke to Arana. He was headed to the audience chamber with the other rulers, last I saw.
Here and gone, here and gone. It's cruel to play with a girl's heart like this, but I'm glad Verandis kept his promise. Ugh, I'm having too many feelings right now. Great, terrible, everything in between. I've waited so long for Verandis to stop hovering over my shoulder, but I never thought it would be because he's not around. I realized something, though. When you and Lyris told me he wasn't coming back, I can't shed tears for him. It's not what he needs from me. He needs someone to carry on after him, to do the work he can't anymore. So that's what I'll do. Keep his legacy alive. Somebody has to keep tabs on all those pesky vampires. Don't think it's just Verandis I expect to visit. It'd be nice bumping into you somewhere other than a moldy cavern once in a while. Castle Ravenwatch is always open to you. It's not like we have a shortage of guest rooms. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to give Verandis an earful. I think I heard the Ard calling for you when we were talking to Arana. They're making some proclamation in the audience chamber. Better not miss your accolades.
They said Verandis was imprisoned in the Void, but he's here. Forgive, Adusa. You must be the one Gwendis and Fenorian spoke of. This one is honored to meet you. There was a time when this one felt more like a nursemaid than compatriot to those two, but Gwendis and Fenorian are no longer helpless kittens. Count Verandis need not worry. Adusa stands firm. House Ravenwatch will endure. House Ravenwatch has a long and noble tradition. This one will run the estate in Count Verandis' absence. She has done so before. As for the Ravenwatch, our work will continue. Gwendis is coming into her own, and Fenorian shows promise.
Now, I must bid farewell to my beloved wards. I have never been comfortable with goodbyes, but I should realize by now that they are rarely forever. I won't be joining the festivities, but rest assured, I will be watching.
I thought you might enjoy a welcome surprise for once, Snow Lily.
Oh, sigh. You always know how to... Oh, hello, partner. Didn't expect you'd find me here. Thought this spot was a little more private. This is Sai Sahan. He's a friend. A close friend. We used to travel together with Emperor Varen before things went horns up. Braden said there was a strange red guard looking for me. When I laid eyes on Sai, I didn't know whether to punch him or hug him. It was quite the surprise, but not a bad one. We've got a lot of catching up to do. I'd say being home has been nice, but you know I'd be lying. The Skald King owes me some rest. Think we'll take our leave of Skyrim and spend some time free of obligations. Always wanted to go back to Skingrad. People like us can't stay out of trouble very long, so let's share a few casks of mead while things are quiet. Oh, Caddock's looking for you. He and the other rulers want to make some big announcement. I'll be along in a moment. I haven't, but I'm sure you can keep them busy for a while longer. Right, partner? Sai and I still have a few dents to bang out of my armor.
Finally! Not a moment too soon. Cadoc's eager to demonstrate that he's the equal of any Nord king. He hopes it will legitimize his claim as king of the Reach. He's not wrong, but he'd look more a fool if I weren't here to keep his temper on a leash. That I am. It's a new dawn. For me, for Markarth, for the Reach. After all you've done to bring it back from the brink of oblivion, putting up with Cadoc's arse-headed notions is the least I can do to make sure it wasn't wasted effort. Let's not stretch the bones of reason. There'll be no shortage of bickering and cursing in our future, but there's trust. So long as we both want what's best for the Reach, that'll do. Best to see him now. I can see him casting glares our way.
Fair adventurers. Come and go as you please. Keep 3 kings and a jarl biding on their thumbs in a crowded hall. Suppose you've earned that right, Rover. Near everybody in this room wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Simply put, I like that. In doing what needed doing, you brought all the crowns of Skyrim to one hall. You put the Grey Host back in the ground, and you gave us clear skies. At last, we can see where we must go. Take this with all our thanks. Free hands of Markarth, you long-suffering lot, I call my kin. We've survived another long night, darker than we've ever known, but we didn't endure it alone. Against the Grey Host we found unlikely allies, and put aside old grudges. Together, we not only survived, we flourished.
We owe these miracles to the efforts of all kinds. Reachman, Nord, Vampire, Outlander. Heroes of every stripe. Let us follow their example. We have warred together. We celebrate together. Let us rebuild together.
From this day forward, we clash mugs instead of swords. Peace and prosperity to all our kingdoms. Cheers to the heroes of Skyrim.
Let us remember them with song and drink. We, the children of Skyrim, we shall endure.